Why was the UN not enough for Europe's post-war security? Imagine a world just after a devastating war, where countries are eager to keep peace but are also wary of new conflicts. That's the time when the United Nations was created. It was meant to prevent future wars through international cooperation. But despite its good intentions, many believed it wasn't enough to keep Europe safe during the Cold War. Why? Let's look at some key reasons. First, the United Nations Security Council, which is responsible for peace and security, has 5 permanent members. These are the United States, the Soviet Union, China, France, and the United Kingdom. Each of these countries has a veto power. That means if one of them disagrees, nothing can be done. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union and the United States often blocked each other's plans. This deadlock made it hard for the UN to act quickly or decisively in Europe's crises. Second, the UN was built as a global organization with many different countries and interests. It was designed to handle conflicts all over the world, not just in Europe. Because of this, it lacked the focus and tools needed to deal with the intense rivalry between the Western countries led by the United States and the Eastern countries led by the Soviet Union. The Cold War created a division that the UN's broad approach couldn't manage well. Third, the UN did not have its own military forces. It depended on member countries to send troops when needed. This meant it could not respond fast or strongly to threats. On the other hand, NATO, which was formed in 1949, was a military alliance made up of countries in Europe and North America. NATO had its own armies and plans for collective defense. This made NATO more reliable for stopping Soviet aggression. Fourth, European countries themselves couldn't agree on a unified defense. They tried to create a European defense community, but it failed because of fears about sovereignty and rearming Germany. Without a united front, Europe relied on the United States and NATO for security. This split made it harder for the UN to be the main protector of European peace. Fifth, the United Nations focused mostly on peacekeeping and humanitarian missions. These are important, but they don't always prevent conflicts from happening. During the Cold War, the main concern was stopping large-scale military threats. The UN's peacekeeping missions were not designed for that kind of military confrontation, so they couldn't replace the need for a strong defense alliance like NATO. So, in the end, the UN was not enough for Europe's security because of its decision-making limits, lack of a standing army, broad focus, and Europe's own divided defense efforts. That's why NATO became the main security shield for Europe during the Cold War, providing the immediate protection that the UN couldn't offer.